the embarrassment that took place at Mets Fan Fest today, the booing of David Stearns, all because of a player and his agent had their heads up their asses. And frankly, I'm sick of talking about this. I know Met fans, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you're sick of talking about it. But it's an absolute embarrassment that the fans booed David Stearns. You would think this team finished in last place last season. You would think this team under Steve Cohen's been an utter disaster, an embarrassment. This fan base, a lot of this fan base, not all of you, because some of you are smart. Not all of you. But a good amount of you are clueless. Clueless. So now all of a sudden, for years, we've always said, F. Scott Boras, I want nothing to do with him. Don't deal with his players. Don't deal with him when it comes to his players. He's a liar. He's this, he's that. And now, all of a sudden, because he represents Pete Alonso, the homegrown Met, as if that means anything anymore, you want to agree with Scott Boras and Pete Alonso and boo David Stearns and Steve Cohen. What the hell happened to you guys? Amnesia? What the hell is wrong with you guys? After last season, the fantastic run, NLCS Game 6, getting eliminated by the Dodgers, who have everyone in their grandma on their team now. You would think that David Stearns, and especially Steve Cohen as well after signing Juan Soto, that you'd be like, you know what? We're good. We're good. And just because Pete Alonso had one magical, and yes, it was a magical home run. There's no run without it. So I'm not diminishing that. You would think, and Yankee fans are going to love this, that Pete Alonso is Aaron Judge. The way that this Met fan base is reacting. Did we forget that Pete Alonso turned down 7 for 158 before Boras? Did we forget that? Oh, that's right. Amnesia. That's right. Pete Alonso, numerous times. I love being a Met. I want to be a Met. This is where I want to be. Only to turn that down and another offer down. And God knows how many other offers he's turned down. Did we forget that? Oh, that's right. He's homegrown. Oh, that's right. He's going to be the home run king if he stays here. Oh, that's right. He's one of us. Did we forget that? Did we forget that Steve Cohen signed Juan Soto? This fan base, well, you don't get what you want. When the Mets don't sign the guy you want or don't make all the moves you want, because there's a lot of fans that want all-stars at every damn position, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. When it doesn't go your way, you turn on them. On the owner, you turn on some of the players, and now you've turned on the GM. The same GM that's coming in and year one had to clean up a mess. And Lord knows how much more of a mess he's got to clean up. Do we forget that? So which side are you on? Pete and Boras or Cohen and Stearns? This is an easy one for me. I'm on Steve Cohen and David Stearns' side. That's the side I'm on. Now, if you're on the other side, give me a reason why you're on that side. A legit reason, not because Pete's homegrown. I don't want to hear that. Give me a legit reason. How are you on the side of Pete Alonso and Scott Boras? Pete Alonso, for the 1,000th time, I'm going to tell you, go to your bathroom and get some Q-tips to clean your ears out. He turned down 7 for 158. He bet on himself. I respect that. 1,000% respect that. And he failed when he bet on himself. So how do you feel, Scott Boras and Pete Alonso, that you have all the power? Why? Because you hit one magical home run against the Milwaukee Brewers? Now that gives you all the power? Stop it. Stop it. And I'm going to keep it PG. Stop it. Your numbers last year in the clutch sucked. Your numbers last year runners in scoring position sucked. Bases loaded sucked. Let me remind the fans, you guys booed Pete Alonso as well last year at Citi Field. Did we forget that? Now all of a sudden, you're wearing your knee pads? Give me a break. Give me a break. to boo David Stearns. We want Pete. We want Pete. Why don't you flood Pete Alonso's DMs on Instagram and ask him, why the hell did you turn down the first deal? Why'd you turn down the other deal? Pete, if you want to be a Met so bad, here it is. This is as simple as it gets, because this has been done before by other athletes in other sports. You want to be a Met? You're fed up with this? Brrr. Hello? Hey, Scott. Yeah, this is Pete. How's it going? Yeah, your ass is fired. There you go. And move on. You know, when Pete signed with Boras, to me, it was hilarious. Did he not learn from his boy, Michael Conforto, how that went? How'd that go? They turned down 5 for $100. How'd that go? He's the 19th outfielder on the Dodgers roster right now. See, fans have selective memory. Very selective memory. And it's only in favor of the argument you want. The argument you want to present. Pete Alonso and Scott Boras dropped the ball. They overvalued themselves. And it's not going to get any easier next year, even if you want opt-outs, because Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Murakami, they will be ahead of Pete Alonso next year. If there's opt-outs or whatever, if you sign to 1-year deal in Anaheim when no one's going to be awake at 10:40. They had Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. How'd that work out? When no one's going to be watching Blue Jays baseball. Nobody's going to care about that neither. Oh, by the way, Pete, did you see the taxes when it comes to your money? Ha! So which one is it? I've been saying it for months. If you truly wanted to be a Met, this would have been done already. This would have been done. And I'm glad that Steve Cohen came to the aid of David Stearns. That's what a real owner does. And Steve Cohen came out and said it publicly. You want to know why? Because Scott Boras plays dirty, and the Mets have had it. The Mets have had it. Now, Scott Boras came out, and he said his own little something. When it comes to this whole Pete Alonso drama, he pretty much said it's the standard contract structure, blah, blah, blah. You know, the same nonsense that a crooked agent says. I just find it mind-numbing. Go look through your old tweets when you killed Boras. And now all of a sudden, you're buying Christmas gifts for the guy. You're on his side because it's Pete Alonso. Track record to me is everything. Scott Boras' track record with his players, if you're a mega superstar, those are easy contracts to negotiate. They speak for themselves. You're the top of the top of the top. Go look at the rest of his guys. Go ask Jordan Montgomery how it went. My man hates Arizona. He pitched like it too. So Met fans, can we keep it a buck? Can we keep it 100? Can we stop with the, this is all on Steve Cohen. This is all on David Stearns. They're being cheap. They're being cheap? Or they're being smart? They told Pete Alonso, go ahead. Go negotiate for yourself. Go see what's out there. Go see what number you can get, and we'll talk. You know what number came up? The same number that comes up when I go to Vegas and spend hundreds of dollars on a slot machine. And zeros came up. Zeros. No one wants him. He doesn't have a market. His 7-year window closed when he said no to that deal. Now, if he would have had a monster season, if he would have killed it all season long, plus the playoff run, then I understand if fans were angry. I would understand the fan base was pissed off. I would understand the fan base if they turned on David Stearns and Steve Cohen. But Pete Alonso, last regular season, when he bet on himself, failed miserably. Now, hit 34 home runs. A lot of those home runs, let's face it, you don't want to hear it. A lot of those home runs, meaningless. Mets losing 8-0. Home run, solo home run, 8-1, Twins. Whoop-de-doo. But for the fan base to boo David Stearns, to boo him, a lifelong Met fan, whose track record shows he's built teams before. Now, I know a lot of Met fans have said, well, he's operating like Milwaukee. Milwaukee didn't do anything. Guess what? Milwaukee was always in the playoffs. This franchise, never the case. Perennial playoff team, never the case. Even when they had the 86 run, never the case. Last year, to end the season, was the most I've ever seen this fan base united has won. United has won. On the same page. Happy about the run. Amazing run. Beautiful run. We'll get him next year. Juan Soto's going to be a bet. You finally believe me. Then we signed Juan Soto. The fan base goes nuts. But then you want the Mets to sign Corbin Burns, Teoscar Hernandez, Anthony Santander, Alex Bregman. These are all the guys at the same time you want on this roster. Devin Williams you want to trade for. Max Fried. You wanted every single one of these guys. And when they sign someplace else, what are we doing? We suck. How easy and how fast you forget. Not me. And I saw a championship in my lifetime. Not me. I'm grateful in such a short period of time how far we've come as an organization. The Mets. The laughingstock of Major League Baseball for a long time under the coupons. I appreciate what's happening. Now, if you compare it to the Dodgers are just, they're operating with they were $380 billion. That's what they're operating with. That's the money they have. That's what they have. So the Dodgers are signing all these players, all this deferred money. They got the pipeline to Japan. Good for them. They've established a winning culture. Good for them. The Mets are trying to do that. And last year, year one, under David Stearns with Steve Cohen, because he's the GM, Steve Cohen wanted from the beginning, year one was a beautiful first step. I'm confident until I see different in David Stearns and Steve Cohen over the BS from Scott Boras and your homegrown hero, Pete Alonso.